Hi Chris, it's Saturday, September 11th, and I want to start off today's video with a question for you. Because you're a little bit more into gaming than I am, I've become a little bit interested in getting back into some forms of computer gaming based on becoming heavily involved in the whole City of Wonders thing. I think playing a game kind of like that would be interesting and fun. So I'm looking for a game in that kind of genre that would be obviously a little bit more complete than the experience that it offers. So thoughts that I've had are Civilization 4, Warcraft 3, SimCity 4, and a game that Becky said you had played called Spore. So if you've played any of those, I'm interested in your thoughts. I know that I'll like Warcraft because I've played the previous versions of the game, Warcraft the original and then Warcraft 2. But I'm not sure if that's the route I want to go, if I want to try something a little bit different that's less combat-oriented. I know the thing I don't think I'd like Civilization, I think would be cool, except that it's a broader scope than I want to really deal with, I think. There's more like, with the trading and the back and forth, the diplomacy and all the agreements between societies and stuff. I don't know that I necessarily want that, but maybe it'd be good. I'm not sure. And then SimCity, the problem is that it seems like it's too political and too focused in one time frame. Whereas I like the idea of being able to kind of progress throughout time. And actually, the fifth possibility, I guess, is a game by the makers of Civilization called Alpha Centauri, which was basically like a space version of Civilization. I think it could be interesting because it puts a different spin on things. But yeah, so I guess those are the 5 options. If you've played any of them, please share, and I'll repeat this question at the end of the video because I really do want to hear back from you on this. Your last video talked about some interesting things that I want to get into in a lot more detail about management style and technique. It's something that I've actually studied quite a bit, and so I'm going to do an entirely separate video on that at some point, but I want to look at it a bit more in depth, and that's why I want to separate it out into another video. So look for that in the future. I want to mention I heard you, and I'm going to have something out there about that. And on that note, getting back to your previous videos. In your first video, you mentioned that you were going to talk about the reason you chose the career path that you have chosen. I'm interested in hearing about that, so maybe you could touch on that too, along with answering my question about games. Anyway, bigger thing that I want to talk about in this segment, we'll have this be the informational, realistic, meaningful segment or whatever. I want to get into, you talked about not really enjoying exercise and, saying, more power to me because it's my thing and whatnot. But the thing is, it's kind of not really my thing. I do CrossFit a lot because I like what it does for me physically. I like the results of doing it. I'm not an exercise person either, though. There's so many things that I'd rather be doing, and there's so little time in the world anyway that it's really, really hard for me to force myself to actually do it. Even though I know that I want to have done it, it's committing the time to actually do it is tough. I fight through and I do it, and we'll get into some more of that later. But it's kind of tough. It goes down to, though, looking at life, and there are things that I want to have done. I want to be healthy, and really that's where it all comes from, is that I want to be healthy and live a long life. And as I approached the 300-pound point late last year, I was really starting to get worried about my health. I was having some problems. I know I didn't talk about it anywhere, but my knees were always sore, and just walking at work got to the point, just walking to and from my office got to the point that it was really kind of tough on me. And I wanted to change that. So that's what has started the process, and that's why I started doing CrossFit, and that's also why I try to eat better. But it's tough because it's not something I really want to do. The CrossFit point, there are other things that I'd rather do with my time a lot of times. And then the food thing, I don't like cooking, and I like food, and I can't make the food that I like to eat. So that's tough. But I know it's something I have to do in order to, reach the point that I want to get to health-wise. So it's going to be a continual battle, I know, really for the rest of my life, and I just have to balance things out. But that's my kind of long-winded answer to your whole not liking exercise thing. I don't really like it either. I guess the last thing I want to touch on is you mentioned that you do your art just as a way to kind of clear your mind, and I think that's awesome. If that works for you. That's really cool. It's completely different for me. So despite the fact that what we create it has a lot of similarities, I'm going about it completely differently. To me, it's all about capturing this thing that I have in my head and putting it out there in a way that other people can see it, that other people can share in it. Because I have all these things in my head that, I kind of want to see actually real in front of me, and I want other people to be able to see too. And that's what it's about to me, is to be able to do that and to create that and share it with other people so they can see and experience the things that I see in my mind. It goes back to the whole creation thing, I think, that we've talked about in the past. And I guess that's about all I have for today. Once again, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. If you have any opinions on Civilization 4, Warcraft 3, SimCity 4, Spore, or Alpha Centauri. I really want to know what you think, what direction you would go if you were me. And on that note, I love your quote at the end of the last video, you can't fix stupid. I have a story to go with that too, but this video is going to get too long if I include it. So yeah, can't fix stupid, don't forget to be awesome, and I'll see you when I see you.